So, this came out yesterday. Yeah, remember how there were all those people that I was mentioning saying that like Sony was the big bad guy keeping SpiderMan? JC Lee, Stan Lee's daughter, comes out and she just rips into Marvel and Disney, basically just saying that they're terrible and they treated Stan Lee horribly and no one should be on their side. I mean, let's get into the actual quote. She was talking with TMZ when she said all this. And she said, "Marvel and Disney seeking total control of my father's creation must be checked and balanced by others who, while still seeking profit, have genuine respect for Stan Lee and his legacy." So straight up, just saying Disney should not have full control over Stan Lee's creations. And as far as whether or not Spider-Man stays in the MCU, it sounds like she's taking Sony's side, saying, yeah, who cares if Spider-Man's in the MCU? Disney should not have full control over Spider-Man in the first place. And she says, whether it's Sony or someone else's, the continued evolution of Stan's characters and his legacy deserves multiple points of view. When my father died, no one from Disney or Marvel reached out to me. From day one, they have commoditized my father's work and never shown him or his legacy any respect or decency. Alright, so a few things to unpack there. First of all, I cannot believe that Marvel or Disney or whoever is in charge of that type of stuff did not reach out to her. I mean, it would have cost them nothing to just call her up, or even like if you have Stan Lee's whole family and maybe it's a big pain to do individual calls for each one of them, but even just sending an email to like linking all of them, linking Stan Lee's whole extended family in an email, and just not even offering them anything, just saying sorry for your loss. It's so simple to do. It blows my mind. If what she's saying is legit right now, it blows my mind that they would not have reached out to her just to at least say sorry for your loss. I guess they figured, oh well, we made a tweet. We made a tweet about it. She'll find the tweet. But that's kind of one of the problems that happens when a business becomes too big. They forget about the little things, like speaking to someone one-on-one, letting your employees and letting your customers know that you care about everyone individually. And unfortunately, Disney has not been very good at that lately. Now, as far as her saying that they never show him or his legacy any respect or decency, I'm not sure what specifically she would be referring to. On the article that I'm reading here, they have this example posted in parentheses, but she's not specifically saying what she means by that. Does she mean like taking it too far, working Stan Lee too hard, or using his name in a way that he wouldn't have wanted his name to be used, or making decisions maybe with Spider-Man or his other creations that he didn't want? I'm not really quite sure, but she does say this, and this has been quoted quite a lot because it is the most damning thing that she says out of everything. She says, "In the end, no one could have treated my father worse than Marvel and Disney's executives." And I do know, there are examples in these articles where people who are working for Marvel and Disney, they're using Stan Lee's name to kind of promote their own views on certain things, their own politics, or how they feel about something, how they feel about how characters should be handled, or how they feel about what the movie should be like, what the comics should be like. And they're using Stan Lee's name even though he's not really here to say, yes, that is exactly what I wanted. Thank you for speaking for me. And not to mention, there was the whole scandal with Stan Lee's Twitter account. And for those of you who don't remember that, there was somebody else posting tweets under Stan Lee's Twitter, and it wasn't Stan Lee posting, and everyone just assumed it was Stan Lee himself posting this stuff, and it wasn't. So there was this whole scandal about that, and then they were like, oh, well, whenever it's actually Stan Lee posting, on his Twitter account, we'll just leave a Stan Lee at the bottom of the tweet, so you know that it's really him. But every other time, it's going to be someone else just posting ads on his Twitter account. So it goes to show you how his name and his legacy is being used, and it's kind of nasty. It's not something that I would want done to me, especially as I'm growing older and I can't really always defend myself. By the way, that Twitter account, yes, it is still up, still verified, and yes, it is still posting tweets, posting links to articles. Of course it's still posting, because they don't want to lose these followers just because he's passed on. Maybe you shouldn't? Or maybe at least change the name and verification. Maybe instead of the real Stan Lee, it should be in memory of Stan Lee or something like that. Because as far as this looks, it's like he's posting beyond the grave. So clearly, you know, they're handling this Twitter account very poorly, and they have been for a very long time now. Speaking for someone who's not here to speak for himself, it's not my favorite thing in the world. And of course, since she came out with this big bomb to drop on Disney yesterday, pew, there goes Disney stock. I mean, lately it's felt like Disney stock has been a complete roller coaster. Lately, Disney has just had a lot of scandals and bad stuff to their name, so all of a sudden their stock plummets and then it slowly climbs up and then it plummets again. Oh man, they really gotta get control of whatever this is. You gotta treat your people right. And of course, there are a lot of Marvel actors who are still coming out and saying that they want Spider-Man back from Sony, and oh, nobody wants Sony to have Spider-Man. And that's kind of what I was saying yesterday. That's the main basis. Everyone wants Spider-Man back to the MCU. But now, after this, that's sure to raise some doubt about whether or not they really want Spider-Man back in the hands of Disney and Marvel. So I know that Renner made this Instagram post, "Hey Sony Pictures, we want Spider-Man back to the real Stan Lee and Marvel, please, thank you." And I know that Tom Holland, I think, unfollowed Sony. I don't even know, man. Apparently this is news. Multiple petitions have been signed to get Spider-Man back into the MCU. The largest currently has upwards of 75,000 signatures. Interesting. Like I said, that petition's going nowhere. But I don't know. What do you make of this whole thing? Would this change your mind about whether or not Spider-Man should be back in the MCU? Do you think that Marvel and Disney have really treated Stan Lee poorly over these years, and JC Lee is finally just taking a stand against all that? Do you think there's some other factor at play why she would come out and start saying this about Disney and Marvel? I don't know. You already know my stance on the whole, oh, should it go back to the MCU or should it stay in Sony? I don't really care. I don't really care about Spider-Man in the MCU. I'm mostly done with it. But of course, be sure to let me know what you think, because your opinions are slightly more important than mine. So actually, don't remember to like the video, sub if you're not subbed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Program restart.